Can hear you absolutely perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Perfectly fine. We are live, by the way. Now we've just gone live. We've got Joe in the chat there. Did you say you're turning your camera on, Manos, or is it not turning on?
it's not turning on. I don't know why. It's the second device that I try, and it just doesn't let me turn it on.
Or are you using another phone?
So originally I tried from the S24 Ultra, and it was not turning on. And now I use the iPad, and it's still on.
These devices, man. You just gotta get something better, right?
Well, there's one common thing across everything. It's the user, right?
It's always well. I didn't want to say it.
Why not?
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. So Joe, are you just sitting at the table right now with your Ray-Bans and secretly typing under the table?
He should be here. He should be here with us.
He
should be here with us. Is what he should be doing. But well, welcome along everyone to the bunch of phonies. You might remember what we are. You might not. It's been a while. Episode 9.
Yay!
We're carrying on, and we've got a bit to talk about because it's Pixel Week. It's Pixel Week, and I'm the only one that doesn't have it. So I was going to say that's not a pixel.
We have them all.
You've got everything in the same color because you just like that.
The same, but not the same at the same time.
Same, but
right?
not the same.
Yeah.
So I went into town today.
Well done. We're proud of you.
Thank you very much. I left the house and I went into O2. I thought, well, I'll have a little gander at the Pixel, and I have to say, hardware-wise, you are correct. It is very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and do you remember? So, like a few minutes ago, you said that it feels like we've been here like a year ago, right? And
yes.
You might, I mean, if not the fact that Google moved the premiere slightly closer this year, we were having one of our first shows after the Pixel 8 Pro went out, right?
Yeah,
it was a little bit later launch though last year. So
I mean, this year is a bit early.
Yes, exactly.
And I remember having those hot takes about the biggest disappointment of the year.
Yes.
And I was saying that it's Pixel. And
well, you were very critical of the hardware because obviously we'd gone from S23 Ultras to the Pixel 8 Pro, and we all, I think most of us had actually had experience of the S23 Ultra by that point, and we all loved the S23 Ultra hardware because it felt fantastic. It still feels fantastic, but the Pixel 8 Pro, even though it's a nice phone, it doesn't feel quite at that level.
No, it doesn't.
No, I agree.
And that was my main gripe last year. I loved the phone for being a Pixel, but I didn't enjoy using it hardware-wise, which is like a very stupid thing to say because it basically has everything that you could ask for, but the difference between the other like flagships, I remember having at the same time the iPhone 15 Pro Max, S23 Ultra, and the Pixel 8 Pro. The gap was big.
Yeah, and I think the other sort of downsides were the fact that the fingerprint reader was still really not good, and the front-facing camera was pretty poor as well.
Yes.
So they were sort of the main gripes. It seems this year they fixed those issues from what I've seen. But what are your thoughts? Go from there.
So maybe I'll start from the end. If I would to like summarize this device right now, I would say that Pixel 9 Pro XL is what the Pixel 8 Pro should have been. For me, the 8 Pro was a bit of a stopgap, especially hardware-wise. It was a year when they put a few refinements here and there where they added a bunch of software features that could at the same time just be launched with the Pixel 7 Pro, and they called it a day and called it a Pixel 8 Pro. And that's why I think that 9 Pro XL is what Pixel 8 Pro should have been last year. And they fixed almost all of my gripes that I had with it. I think that there have been a leak a few weeks ago that the 128 gigabyte option will have UFS 3.1, but the larger ones will have UFS 4.0.
I would just say there as well. That's probably one of the few things that's an issue this year, is that they've still got a 128 gig model.
Yes, I mean they probably should have started with 256, but nevertheless, no matter which you'll choose, it's still UFS 3.1. And I think that this is probably the last hardware thing that's like a bit behind other devices. Well, other than the SoC, right? But sure. Tensor is a different subject entirely. But yeah, overall, I think that they fixed almost all of my gripes that I had with Pixel 8 Pro, which I in the end ended up with last year, and I've been using it since January nonstop.
Well, you did try the S24 Ultra for a day.
No,
was it even a day?
No, it was Manos who didn't even like take it out of the box.
Was it Manos? Am I getting you confused?
Yeah, I've used it for like almost 2 weeks, but decided that it's not enough of a leap in terms of jumping from S23.
Dave West says 128 gigs is a Home Bargains exclusive anyway, so there you have it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, 128, I don't know, it just feels like Apple that used to offer 64 gigabytes until, I don't know, a couple of years ago on the iPads and the iPhones. I don't know, I remember they kept with 64 gigs for a long time.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad personally I was able to get the 256 model this year, because the 128 Pixel 8 Pro, I am at 98 gigs, and I had to delete a lot of stuff in order to, make.
Yeah, but the thing is, you take 5,000 photos a day, so it's very easy for you to fill it quick. And Devon's here watching on his Pixel 9 as well. Welcome in, Devon. How you doing, mate? So, what about you, Manos? How are you feeling about the 9 Pro XL over the 8 Pro?
I haven't been able to actually play with it much. It came yesterday afternoon. And with the house situation, with having contractors,
sure,
everything, I was planning of playing with it before the stream today, but with what happened with Ernie, basically derailed everything. Yeah, so hopefully tomorrow and the following days. But I will say one thing: I love the hardware. I love the way it feels in the hand. It's beautiful. I don't know.
That's what she said.
Yes. So I immediately felt, wow, this is a premium Pixel experience.
Interesting. Just going from that, Tor's in the chat. Welcome in, Tor, on X, and he's saying Pixel 9 seems pricey, to be honest, compared to what's on the market. Now, what are your thoughts on that?
Depends what you compare it with. I mean, here in the UK, if you're just gonna compare it against the iPhones and Samsungs, the only thing that I can argue that it makes it, like, let's say, pricey is the processor. But then again, what are you going to do with more power? I'm not saying that I'm against having more power, having Snapdragon or anything. But I was fine with the Pixel 8 Pro. I was actually having better battery drain with it compared to the iPhone when I was using the camera, and I use the camera a lot. So I would say, yes, it's not up there with the benchmarks and all, but for the day-to-day stuff, I had zero issues with the 8 Pro. Now with the 9 XL, I haven't used it long enough to have an opinion yet. But given that the battery is supposed to be better, the thermals are better, the modem is better, from what I've heard Chad, he was telling me that he was driving to work, and normally he was having zero signal with the S24 and the iPhone. But with the Pixel, he was perfectly fine. And even at work, that he would normally have 1 bar or 0, with the Pixel, he was okay.
That's
and
good.
The phone was lasting. So if they have fixed that, then, kudos.
That seems to be the sort of really big noticeable difference that a lot of people mention is the battery life,
Yeah.
which is interesting because they've not really changed Tensor too much. It's quite a small change, but it's the modem that seems to be like the main thing that's been changed there. That's really sort
Yeah.
of helping.
But the thing is, if you like Pixel, if you like Android, and you value a good camera, especially for point and shoot, that you don't really care about editing or anything, like the Pixel takes ready photos for anything. And if you have kids, pets, and you want the picture to freeze that moment, and we've seen the pictures from Mac and his daughter, they're just, lovely. OnePlus, it's good, but I don't think it would have been able to capture those moments that Mac has captured because I've taken auto photos in the street, and when it's auto and there's a lot of movement, the OnePlus sometimes has a little bit of, the famous stutter lag that you see with the Samsungs. So yeah, the Pixel will deliver on that. So as being value for money, given the fact that they have fixed those three things, I feel that it's definitely worth the money if you like, the Pixel experience. And I would go
Yeah.
as far and say that it's a better value proposition than the iPhone 15 Pro Max for sure. For me, at least. I'm a hater when it comes to Apple. Yes, I do buy it occasionally, even though now I've stopped using one. But still, I don't know. I think it's way more worth it.
Yeah, although Joe has a great point that the amount of money that you have to spend for 8 Pros right now is crazy. You can get a Pixel 8 Pro really cheap, and if someone isn't like in the market for a new device, a freshly released device, I would say that Pixel 8 Pro in terms of photography might be a killer right now. But I agree. With Manos a bit.
And you can get in
yeah,
the best color as well. Still the best color.
debatable.
No.
But yeah,
There is no debate.
in terms of battery, I have to say that so far I'm pretty impressed. Yesterday I had over 10 hours of screen on time, but this was like mostly at home, and like I was just putting my phone down with TikTok auto scrolling and stuff like that with YouTube, just to see what kind of a result there be. But today was like a bit more normal day. I've spent like most of the day at home, but I've been on around 2 hour walk, taking a lot of photos, and I've just for the sake of testing, I recorded over 20-minute video of 4K 60 frames per second video, which is like very taxing for devices. And I've used Lightroom a while. I've edited like 15 photos using a Google Photos editor, and right now I'm sitting at 6% of battery with 7 hours 45 minutes screen on time. And
That's not bad.
that's not bad, especially given that camera was used by an hour.
That drains.
Yeah,
That does drain, yeah.
that drains a lot. So I would say that even if someone would like to go for a longer photo walk, if you're not planning to like shoot throughout the whole day, maybe like in the morning or in the afternoon, the battery should be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You'll probably need some charge up if it's going to be a whole day, but other than that, it's like so far, it's really great.
And I've got to say as well that I mean that we're talking like power user levels of use. Like you're using it heavy.
Yeah.
Like if you're a more casual user, I mean, like I don't run the camera loads every day, a lot of the time. And I mean, I've been running the Pixel 8 Pro for the last however many days it was before I just popped my SIM back in the Xperia. But my 8 Pro was lasting me. I could have pushed 10 hours screen on time. I could have pushed 10 hours screen without putting battery saver on or anything like that. With a mix of Wi-Fi and data as well. So, you can. An 8 Pro is still going to do most people perfectly fine. And I just wanted to refer that to Tor as well, who was saying, does it run hot? Had a 7A and tends to run hot just setting it up. So 7A had the G2, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't think the A series has had any sort of like what you call it, like thermal management or anything like that. It did run hot. It does run hot. in the A series, and it still runs quite warm in the Pros. You can, I mean, especially in the 8 Pro, you can still feel it a lot of the time, but it doesn't seem to have any sort of effect on anything. So, you know, it's not going to run as cool as a Snapdragon. Let's put it that way. But then a Snapdragon, when you start pushing it a little bit, it will heat up just the same. Especially if you're doing gaming Lightroom, using your cameras.
Yeah, it will.
You're going to get a bit of that anyway. So, yeah. That's all I have to say on that, really. Is you're going to get that with pretty much every phone, really. But Tensor does heat a little bit more than other phones, for sure.
Yeah, although the Pro 9 Pro and Pro XL have the new vapor chamber cooling, which like makes
that's something I obviously haven't tried yet, so I can't really comment on that.
It makes a lot of difference. I had one scenario where 8 Pro just fails, which is recording video boost videos while using Android Auto. It just a couple of minutes of video recording, even like less than 2 minutes. While using wired Android Auto was enough to like kill the phone completely. It would stutter, it would be not responsive, the video would be like 5 frames per second and stuff. I did the same test with a 9 Pro XL and I've recorded the 10 minutes of video boost 4K 60 while doing Android Auto and also playing Tidal. It was perfect.
Did you do a similar test last year with the 8 Pro?
Yeah, and it failed.
It failed, didn't it? Yeah.
It wasn't a test. I just wanted to record the video while driving. Yeah, to be precise, my wife was the driver then, so I could use the phone, but it failed completely. But the 9 Pro XL was perfectly fine.
Yeah. Tor's got a couple of other questions as well. Anyone try the AI photo stuff? I've seen some wild things. Seems scary. You know what? That's an interesting thing to talk about as well, because I've seen quite a few people that are like really into photography talking about the fact that this is like a horrendous thing because people are just going to be faking all their images. And did you mention? I think I saw a post from you, Mac, mentioning the fact that there was no sort of mention in the EXIF data that there was any manipulation whatsoever, or
yeah, exactly. I modified like a few photos just to test how does it work, and it works scary good. It's scary good at what it does. It was able to really make it realistic, and I was sure that there will be like some EXIF data within the newly created file, but there's none. So if you don't know what to look for, it's very easy to fool people with those photos. Luckily, they have a drawback, which is the AI generation butchers the quality of the photo. So you won't be able to use this modified photo as, I don't know, like contest entry or something like that, because the quality is poor. But this might get better in time, and I think that Google should really look into providing some concrete data about using those AI tools, especially with such force as the new Magic Editor and Reimagine functions enables us to, because I can like modify the picture completely, and I think that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah. There definitely needs to be something there that specifically just outlines that it is a manipulated image. It has to be.
Yep.
I mean, we've had plenty of experience in recent days and weeks with people using images that weren't theirs and probably manipulated images as well from multiple people that we see quite often. So this kind of thing is worrying in that respect, especially when you have brands that will take these people at their word and promote these images as though they've been taken on their phone and things like that. Like there's a lot of dodginess about as it is.
Yeah,
this just adds an extra layer into that we could really do without.
Yeah, we had a few good examples, right, of people using like even not their photos as a promo material. So yeah, this opens a fun but pretty dangerous door, in my opinion. And there even is something called content authenticity initiative or something like that. I don't know
Was
if
that
I.
a Sony sort of involved with that as well, I think.
I don't remember. I
Can't
don't
remember.
remember. There is like a whole initiative that's being built. But I think that companies like Samsung, like Google, that are offering those AI tools should jump on board because it might get a bit dangerous in the wrong pair of hands.
Yeah, and there's going to be plenty of those hands about, no doubt.
Yeah.
Vishnu here was asking on X as well, is it worth the price it retails at? We're obviously talking about the Pixel 9 Pro still. I can't remember what the regular Pixel 9 retails at.
$799.
$799. So that's sort of, what is that, around S series price? Then you've got the 9 Pro. Is that over $1,000 now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in pounds it was 1100. To be honest with you, it is steep for sure. Does it justify the increase? If Tensor 4 was, I don't know, significantly better compared to Tensor 3, maybe, because it doesn't like okay, it's beautiful and everything, but the cameras, they haven't been improved hardware wise, to the level of saying, oh wow, it's a 1-inch sensor, or you can do telemacro now with a 5x.
Yeah.
If maybe the camera hardware was more upgraded, I would say yes, it's justified, but just for the design change, not really. But if you can get like, a discount or a trade-in deal, like in my case, I'm able to get 500 off. It was good. But if I were to pay the full amount, it would have been a tough, pill to swallow. I would most likely wait for sales.
Yeah.
I would say that the offer that they made, offering a higher storage tier at the lower price, was good. You also have to keep in mind that Google offers a credit back to your account when you're using a Google One subscription, which
Oh yeah, that's true.
I imagine that a lot of people do. So it gives you a bit in return. I would like for them to give the watch as well.
The watch would have been nice.
Yeah, that they've been giving watches with the 6 or with the 7. No,
And
with
the
the
8.
7, with the 7 and the 8, right?
With the 6
They've
that
been
gave
giving
the Bose
watches.
headphones.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But I think that's they want to like earn something right now.
I mean, you do get like Gemini Advanced for a year, is it?
But I don't really know how does it work, because I haven't even looked into this yet. But I think that it's only for people that are not Google One subscribers.
Yeah, I haven't received anything yet either. And
Yeah.
it doesn't really seem fair. Like, what, if I'm Google One, I'm not going to receive anything? That doesn't seem right.
I need to take a look at it, because I have the 2 terabyte option, and it would be
I
cool to not
I
have
do
to pay
too.
for it for a year, right? So I think that it adds up, and I would say that Pixel 9 Pro XL 256 at the pre-order stage is worth it. It's worth it.
You would say.
Yeah.
Especially if you have something to trade in. Just upright, I'm not sure. I would still rather wait for, I don't know, Black Friday or something like this, because for sure they're gonna be similar offers, and you will see it like within 2 months' time, £100 off, 200.
Yeah, I mean, Pixel prices, as we know, they don't tend to hold value so well. So there's going to be some pretty good deals about. I mean, you're probably going to find some on eBay pretty quickly that are, well under £1,000. So if you really want to go that route, then it might be worth looking out for that. What, on eBay?
Yeah, I wouldn't buy secondhand in general unless I knew the person. Like, okay, I got the OnePlus 12 from Joe because I trust Joe.
And this was the last time he bought secondhand.
Same.
Most likely, unless Joe buys the 13 and I can get it off him again for cheap. But yeah, I just don't trust. I have OCD. I need everything to be, as good as possible.
Yeah, I just think the 8 Pro at the minute is such a good buy.
It is
such a good buy. I'm not trying to get anybody to buy my 8 Pro. Just saying, I'm not selling it. It's fine. I'm sticking with it. I'm not getting the 9.
Yeah,
like that's part of the thing today. Like I went in with the intention of potentially pre-ordering it, and even the manager was talking me out of it.
Really?
He's an Xperia guy. Would you believe? Yeah, probably the only guy in every phone shop in the country that is an Xperia guy, and he's just upgraded to the One Mark 6 as well. And he says you'll have pretty much everything in terms of the AI features and things. You'll have everything available in Google Photos at some point down the line anyway. So why worry about it?
Well, at one hand, I agree, but I don't know. There's something in the Google devices, at least for me, that's
telephoto. That's basically the only reason that I'd have it over the.
It's
Xperia.
amazing. It's amazing, the telephoto. I think I owe a lot to Pixel 8 Pro. I think it was the one who really got me invested, wanting to develop my skills because of how good it was and how happy I was with it. And it was the first one I was like, wow, this is exciting. I can take good pictures, and the Pro mode and finally Pro controls and all that. And, editing on Lightroom as well was perfectly fine. It was not significantly slower compared to other phones. So it was good. If anything, it got less hot than the iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Yeah, well, the 15 Pros have had a bit of an issue with heat generation, haven't they?
Yeah.
Ever since, I mean, it's not. Mine wasn't that bad, as far as I can tell. Remember, but I know people complaining at the time were saying that it was really. I mean, you've never been happy with it anyway, Manos. But
yeah, I was not. I had major issues that they had to replace it, and
you had a nightmare with that.
Yeah.
And that was Apple.
Yeah. And that was Apple. They messed up at the Apple store in Reading. It was not like a third party in the corner or something.
To be honest, I think we are at the point with the mobile chips when we need to look on this a bit like on the car's performance, right? You can get a car that will like drive 50, 60 miles per hour is perfectly fine, and it's going to be efficient. But if you push it a bit more, you want to go fast, it will just run through all the fuel that you have. And there are cars that like are better suited for like higher performance and higher speeds, but it all like evens up in the fuel consumption. So I believe that we are at the point where the miniaturization and the amount of heat that those chips are putting out have like balanced a bit with the possibilities in terms of cooling. So if you want the power to go up, which I don't actually think that we need to pursue anymore, at least for now, it will end up with a high thermals and worse battery life. And I think that's the clue for now. I would prefer for even Snapdragon to focus more on the efficiency, not only the benchmark gains, because it doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. We're basically at like laptop levels of performance with some of these chips now.
Almost,
and I just think like for a phone, like you're saying with the Pixel 9 Pro with the Tensor G4, there's nothing that you're doing day to day that you feel you're missing out on. And even in some of the gaming tests that they've done, it seems to be pretty handy for the most part.
Yeah. So reviews and the game's just fine.
Yeah. So we're kind of at that point where it's just like, do we really need more and more power? I mean, I think we were talking about this last year, but we could just do with efficiency for a little while.
But the problem is, sorry, Mark. The problem is that companies, they chase higher performance, benchmarks in order to flex their capabilities. and they don't really care about the user in terms of like efficiency or battery, and maybe not even they don't care. They specifically don't want you to have a good battery life, so it degrades fast, and then you upgrade next year, or you go in the service center, you get a new battery. I mean, look at the iPhone 15.
We need you to replace your phones.
Yeah, exactly. Like 15 series of iPhones, you've seen on Twitter. Everyone is like, oh, it's already 80 something percent, or a couple of months down the line was like 95. When have we seen this happening before? No. It just feels next level planned obsolescence in a way, at least battery wise.
The batteries are getting better as well. I think we've got more sort of battery tech coming in this next year. I think the battery sizes are going to get pretty big. I think there's like 6,000 milliamp hour and above.
Yeah, and OnePlus supposedly is coming with a new battery technology and higher capacities.
Yes, I think it's the same. I think it's the same one that Oppo's using as well. Like I think it's called it Glacier or something like that. Glacier battery tech or something.
Yeah, but then we'll end up on 4500 nit brightness and like 3.5 million points in Antutu. And all gains in the battery will like even out, and we'll still end up in one day phone.
Of course. But then if you're getting more features and better hardware for that, then swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
Just depends what you want, really. But if you're building something like a Samsung Galaxy where you're using quite mediocre camera hardware, they could push battery life better than other brands and make that a focus, because for a lot of people buying Samsungs, I mean, battery life will be something they would appreciate more, I would think.
This is one of the reasons why I think that S23 Ultra still has a lot of
so good.
a lot of users. I know like a handful of people that got the S24 Ultra and they just sent them back because they didn't feel like it's reason enough to upgrade, which is crazy.
A lot of people have been having battery issues, actually.
I can talk to you about the S24 Ultra if you want.
Go for it.
My SIM is in it. The camera has not impressed me or made me feel that it's an upgrade over the S23. Definitely there is something off with the 50 and 200 megapixel modes. Supposedly they're gonna push like an update at some point to fix that. Battery wise, initially it felt as bad as Pixel 8, I would say. Like I was getting from 100 to around 15-20%. I was getting like 6 hours of screen on time in the first week or so. But I was remaining patient. I was like, okay, maybe it needs to do its trick to learn my usage and all these things. It never really improved until I changed the performance mode, which I put it on the light one. And ever since I put it on light mode, I'm actually getting 10 hours on screen of time if I were to use it, if I were to push it. And it doesn't run hot. It's fine. It's just I needed to change that.
I think light mode should just be the default.
Yeah.
It should just be the default. But
Totally.
They're just like, I don't understand why that's not a thing. But they could also do with adding more modes in there.
Yeah, I find it funny then when you like buy a top-end Galaxy device, it's going to be set to 1080p screen.
Mad.
But
Yeah, mad.
no one will set it to like light mode.
I never really saw a difference in battery consumption with having different resolutions, to be honest with you.
It doesn't make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Ben from the Lovortech did a lot of comparisons, and it was like max 2-3% across the whole like battery life cycle. So it's not worth it, to be honest.
But I will give some recognition to and respect to Samsung, because it feels the shutter lag, the motion blur, it has improved. When I was using the phone in San Diego, I took a lot of street shots, and I think in 10 photos I had maybe 1 or 2 which they were not good. Or I would say they were still usable, but maybe the foot or an arm, it would be a little bit blurry. But everything else apart from that, solid. And I didn't have to use Gcam yet, so
Yet, he says.
Yet.
Yeah, Yeah, and to be honest, I feel that the auto is very comparable to Gcam, at least the one that I've been using. I think the only difference you see is just in colors, I guess the greens. But apart from that, it's okay. But I keep using Pro and Expert Raw now, so I don't care about Gcam anymore. So it's fine.
Yeah, Dave there saying the telephoto is a golden feature on the Pro Pixels. It is, especially once you get to the point where you are almost. Oh, I think Manos is
Manos is beeping.
fire
So
alarm.
that's my air fryer. Sorry, it's just I haven't had dinner, so I'm just preparing something.
It's one of those things. Once you start using telephotos, you almost live out of them.
Yeah, like 90% of my pictures, if not 95, it's telephoto.
Yeah, same here. But I still think that X4 was better than X5.
I agree. I still think it's better focal length. I just like that range.
Yeah, 3.5 would be perfect. 3.5.
That's why I really want that Vivo that Joe's got with that 3.7x 200 megapixel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I don't know. For me, my favorite telephoto so far from all the phones I've used over the years, it's the OnePlus. I just freaking love it. I need to find some time and send it over to Mark because he would like to try it out.
Oh, I'd love it.
And we're gonna get that.
His face lighting up.
Yeah,
he's ready.
It's amazing. I don't think I've been
I'm shining
that happy
already.
with it.
Shining, yes. A beacon.
And you can go, 6x, 10x, and it's very, very good. And if there is a good light, even up to 10x or 15x, and it works great.
I want to see how it compares to the Pixel.
Okay, I can try to give you some examples.
Just match it up at 5x.
Yeah. Okay. That will be
just out of interest.
Yeah. But the thing is, with the OnePlus, you can actually have telemacro shots.
This is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. What is it, like 25 centimeters or something like that?
It's 20.
20 centimeters.
That's a missed opportunity on the new Pixels.
That is a missed opportunity.
It's a shame.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've got Thinborn in the chat.
Ooh.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Hello.
Offering up some lovely cases for the Pixel 9 series, by the way.
Yeah, I need to get some more. I only have one for now.
I only have one at the moment. I think it's called 2DI because it has, MagSafe, and I just want MagSafe for the car.
I've got 3 Chudia cases for the Pixel 9 Pro, so I'll XL. So I'll. Max already claimed one, to be fair.
It's nice. I'm not gonna lie. I also have it for my OnePlus, but it's not that good looking. I wish Spigen had the same one that I have for the S24 Ultra, which is like. I don't even know, like you can see the internals. I don't know how they call it.
Oh, you mean the Spigen one?
Yeah.
The 01 edition.
Exactly, that one. But for the Ultra, it has MagSafe, but for the Pixel, they launched it and it doesn't.
Oh.
And that put me off. I was so ready to buy it. I was like,
that's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I believe the Thinborn case does have MagSafe in there, just so you know.
Yeah, I need to look it up.
Definitely worth looking them up.
Guys, I'm sorry, I have to drop for today, but thank you for having me, and hopefully see you next week.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Take it easy, man. Rest up.
Carry on. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. He's not feeling well, bless him.
Yeah.
He's not feeling well. But, yeah, Joe's definitely making me... It's definitely making me jealous with that Vivo.
Oh yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah, I'm looking at an import at the minute. I'm kind of weighing up either the Vivo, the X7 Ultra, or the Xiaomi 14 Ultra. So they're the 3 choices I have at the minute.
I don't know. I think the Vivo is worth,
Yeah, the Vivos I think the most expensive, but then it is the newest one as well. So
for sure, yeah.
There's been some pretty good deals on the X7 Ultra and even the Xiaomi on the UK store today. That deal was insane. 765 on the UK store. I think it was like what, 1,300 quid when it came out.
Okay, and how much you say it was now?
Say again.
How much did you say they put it now for?
Yeah, it's down to 765.
Wow. Okay.
On a deal just today.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
Yeah, that sounds
crazy.
amazing.
Kind of crazy.
Mm.
So, anything else that you? I know Joe's got every phone going at the minute, so he's been
Yeah,
like
Joe is
dabbling
Mr.
in a bit of
Moneybags, like
everything.
20 phones or something. Yeah.
Did you say your SIM's in your S24 Ultra?
For me, yeah, it's on the S24 Ultra. Yes.
Are you going to be putting the SIM in the Pixel?
Eventually, yeah. The moment I set it up properly and I have time to actually use it, because at the moment with the house situation, it's hard. And today was raining. I had to go out for some tours, and I just quickly took 2 photos with the Ultra. But realistically, with the Pixel, I would have been able to.
Yeah.
I need to spend time to properly, make it mine. Let's say, yeah.
You like to give it some time and nurturing.
And also, I need to take off the camera screen protector that I got.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. I had a few conversations with.
I don't know what people in the chat think about that, because I've never really used the camera screen protectors, just because I thought, well, probably would mess with the image. I would have thought, like, in terms of like the lens glare, especially.
Yeah, I don't know. Fahim thinks that they not thinks. He says that it really does affect it, like 100%. I originally, got this because Ernie, if you remember, at the beginning of the year, he scratched my.
I do remember, Manos, because you were in absolute just bits from this devastating millimeter scratch to your
the Pixel 8 Pro, and
camera glass.
At least it didn't go, over the camera, so that was good.
You went on about it for days. You were about it for days. You were devastated.
Yeah. Even the tiny scratch or the tiny dust, it can make me, send the phone back. Like when Joe sent me over the OnePlus 12, I thought there was like a dust over the camera, and I thought it was under the glass, but it was up, and it was just hard to scratch it off. I don't know how even. And I remember saying, "No, it's messed up." Yeah, but everything worked out in the end.
Hey, it's not as bad as when Joe sent his phone to Mazzillion.
Oh my god, that was horrific. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That was appalling.
Yeah.
That was appalling. Joe probably doesn't want to relive that, but
definitely not. And this is why it's so important. I don't know, to record everything when you pack it and you send it to anyone.
Yes.
Like this time, I'm definitely using my Meta Ray-Bans to record when I will be sending the Pixel 8 Pro to Pixel to Google, because I just don't trust them. You see so many stories every year with everybody.
I know.
Because it's third-party companies who deal with the trade-ins. It's not the company itself. So, you never know. Never know.
Yep, you never know. Tor there saying as well, he thought of getting a camera lens, the extra glass on there, but he thought it might distort the images a little bit, which that's always been my thinking as well.
Yeah.
That's always been my thinking. I've never scratched one.
For me, it was the very first time. Like, yeah, that's a single phone. So.
I mean, you did shove the phone in his face, so you
see, if
his way of telling you, just back off.
If the phone had telemacro, I wouldn't have to bring it that close.
Well, that's the thing. If you'd had like a Vivo or an Oppo or something like that,
true,
you wouldn't have had to worry about that too much.
That's true.
But yeah, so it looks like I'm not going to be getting the Pixel 9 series at all.
Okay.
I honestly, I've chopped and changed this last few days, from not getting it to yes, I'm going to get it, to then actually, I know every time I've switched from an Xperia, every single time, I have regretted the switch. So I kind of thought, I'm just going to stick with it. Stick with the 8 Pro. Because I've only had the 8 Pro for, 7 months?
Okay.
Nearly 8 months. So I want to get more use out of that, really. And it's still a very, very good phone. Perfectly capable. It's still getting all the features that the 9's getting. So
That's for sure. Yeah.
You know,
Something that I appreciate though for the 9 series, and we didn't mention this earlier with Mac, is the fact that the fingerprint sensor has been changed, and now no longer blinding you in bed, because it was
mate, that was a thing.
it was a thing.
It
And
was
I've
such a
woken up
thing.
Ernie many times, in the morning, because he sleeps with us in the bed, and it's so in your face. It's almost impossible not, wake up anyone within, a close vicinity.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is
So,
bright. It's really
right.
bright, and it always fails the first time.
Yes, it does. That's so true.
Always fails the first time, so you have to do it multiple times
Yeah.
to get it to work. Max decided to come back into the chat, even though he's feeling very unwell, and we told him to go and get rest. But he's here on his phone again just to mock me about he doesn't believe that I'm not going to get the 9 Pro. We'll see about that. But this time, Xperia disappointed you. It is difficult with the Xperia because there's things that I've been disappointed with in terms of the lack of the telephoto upgrade, even though it has been sort of upgraded, but the sensor hasn't. And the fact that they've changed the software to try and simplify it, but that's kind of killed the software, if that makes any sense. But the rest of the phone is just so good. It's so good.
The battery, especially, it's so
Man,
impressive.
the battery is just crazy. I mean, I can't remember what the screenshot was that I posted in the chat before. But it's crackers.
I would
It's just
say it's
crackers.
maybe the battery phone, or for the, I don't know, for 23, 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very impressive battery wise. Obviously, you've still got your headphone jack, you've got your micro SD. Main camera's still really nice. Images are, as always with Xperia, supernatural, and you just don't have anywhere near the level of processing that you have on something like a Pixel, which is what I absolutely adore about it. So, I'm going to stick with it because I actually enjoy using it when I'm using it. Every time I pick it up, I'm like, wow, this actually feels quite a bit better than the Pixel 8 Pro does.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So,
But how did you feel about the downgrade in the display? Did that bother you?
The thing is, I think people got hung up on that because the 4K display was always the thing with the Xperia, where it was almost like a unique feature that no other phone had that. But it only really worked when you were displaying content on it. So if you were watching 4K video that you'd recorded, for instance, it would play in 4K.
Right.
But when you're using the phone in general, it's running in 1080p.
Oh, okay.
So running in 1080p now, it doesn't really feel any different.
Gotcha.
But because Sony's put a energy efficient screen in there, that's what's causing the battery life to be so good. So you're getting that benefit instead, which is quite handy.
It also has this crazy autofocus for even, I don't know, insects and everything. Isn't that like?
I mean, I posted those pictures in the chat before, or I posted them on X, I think, yesterday, with the ginger cat.
Right. Yes.
And there was like 4 pictures, but 3 of the pictures were the cat sort of like walking towards me. I thought he was going to stay stationary, and I lined up the shot, and then he started walking towards me quite quickly. Took 3 shots, all absolutely perfect, focused on his eyes, just spot on. Like the autofocus is insane. And now it can track, it can track through the back of your head, like it's bonkers.
So it's very promising for next year, I would say.
If they can do the upgrades that I wanted this year in terms of upgrading the sensor on the telephoto, then I'll be very happy. I'll be very, very happy. But I kind of wanted that this year.
Yeah.
Tor's asking about the Pixel Fold.
Or any folds.
Or folds in general.
I don't know. I think the folds, I don't know. For me, it's a tricky one. I feel they still are a little bit gimmicky in terms of their value proposition, because they say, oh, it can replace your tablet. But I just, personally, for me, I cannot justify paying, almost 2K to get a phone that has lesser cameras, because for me, camera is the number one thing. So I just cannot justify it. I would rather buy a cheap tablet like an iPad Mini 6 and use that. rather than spend 2K and compromise on cameras and battery and durability as well, because you cannot convince me that in more than a year's time it's not going to have some issues with the screen. There are so many posts going around.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, obviously we saw quite a lot of issues with the first generation Pixel Folds.
Yeah.
And that screen wasn't very good. I didn't mind the bezels, and I liked the aspect ratio and all that, but the screen quality just seemed pretty grim. I mean, when I went into O2 to actually look at the phone, the crease was just all cracked to all hell.
Yeah, and it looks very plasticky.
Yes.
I don't know. I was not impressed.
Really reflective. Really, just didn't look good.
It came with Tensor 2 as well, so I was like, come on.
This year's looks fantastic, I have to say.
Yeah,
but they've gone for like a slimmer build.
Yeah.
And they've decided to not push the camera hardware too much, which is kind of disappointing, because if they'd have just pushed that camera hardware a little bit, just to sort of give us like 50 megapixels, maybe on like the main, like all the rear cameras, basically, that would have been nice. Even if the sensors weren't massive.
And now everyone is racing to make them very thin. It's just like, make it. I want better cameras. If that means making the phone thicker, just make it be. Like, what is this obsession with devices being thin? I think we need to blame Apple for that and their obsession with the MacBooks being, thinner and thinner, because it just doesn't make sense. What's the point? Who decided that slimmer means, I don't know, immediately better? Maybe it's, aesthetically pleasing, but I don't know, means over form.
It just depends what you're going for, doesn't it? But like, I kind of feel like I don't really want phones to be like really thin, and if anything, a foldable. I kind of want it to have a little bit of thickness to the panels, just to each half, because durability.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen how it goes with the old iPhones. What is it? The 6 Pluses. Bendgate,
or the new iPad Pros. Have you seen how?
Oh, those as well. Yeah.
I see them in person. I couldn't believe
it's insane. It is insane how thin they are.
Like
I'd be scared to death.
You can easily break this by accident.
Yeah.
You sit on it, gone.
Yeah, exactly. But like when it comes to the folds and stuff, I actually do like the folds. I had the Fold 4 for about, what was it, about 3 months.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed using that. Really enjoyed using it. The only thing I didn't like was the cameras, because obviously it's a Samsung. But the rest of it I really enjoyed. And I think especially if you're here in the UK, by the way, if you, Mac's already done this as well. If you go to giffgaff and you go for their refurbished section, they have at the moment, I believe, Galaxy Fold 5s for $799 in excellent condition, and there's a 21-day no quibble, no fuss return. So
let's try it. Yeah,
it's worth a go. They've even got the Fold 4 on there for like 449 quid or something. So I give it a go.
Yeah, personally, if I were to get a foldable, I would go for the OnePlus Open. It's just, I don't know, it feels great. Like, I've seen it in person in Milan, and I don't know, I just like the hardware, like the aspect ratio. The cameras are great for a foldable, actually. Very comparable to OnePlus 12. But personally, I wouldn't go for a fold. Like, I wouldn't spend that money for the reasons I mentioned before. And I would much rather go for a flip. Yeah. Especially the Motorola that has a telephoto instead of an ultra wide. It feels premium. It looks beautiful. It looks like a very solid device. Even the Samsung, the Flip 6, it looks fun. I used it a little bit in San Diego and I liked it.
Well, funnily enough, right, my other half decided to try something other than her iPhone.
Ooh, wow, okay.
And with giffgaff, we picked her up a Flip 5.
Nice.
And that was, I believe, I can't remember if it was $399 or $499. And within a few days, she returned it.
Oh, okay. Why? Was it the battery? Was it the display?
It
What
was
was it?
it was partly the battery, but also the fact that she hated opening it up because the Galaxies just don't utilize the outer screen that well.
Oh, I see. That I can understand.
You have to dive into the settings a bit to actually unlock a lot of the functionality as well, which is really annoying.
Which the average user not gonna do that. They want to be ready to use. Yeah, which makes sense. I understand that.
I always find that the Motorola Razr at the minute for me is the best flip.
Yeah.
100%. I really enjoyed using the 40 Ultra. I'm getting the 50 series in the next couple of weeks to review. Nice. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hopeful that I'm going to. Well, I think it's going to be the Razr 50, so the cheaper model with the Dimensity and the ultra wide camera. But I'm hoping I can get it in the orange because the orange looks absolutely amazing.
So for me, the green, like I've seen Wilkin.
Well, that's the Ultra. That's the Ultra. So when I get the Ultra, yes, green.
Amazing.
Got to get the green. Golan says no call recorder on the Pixel 9 series. Is that right?
I haven't used it enough to know if it is there. But is that because of it cannot support it, or is it the UK thing? Is everywhere like this? Are we having like a Gemini Nano situation all over again? Like where people have to complain and maybe we'll get it? I don't know. I need to read up on this.
Yeah. Google are a bit funny with software sometimes. Like, I don't know. Sometimes they have things missing and it comes back later, and I don't know.
Does the standard Pixel 9 series have less RAM, or all the models have 16 gigs of RAM?
No, I think the standard Pixel 9 series might be 12.
12, right?
I think it's a 9 Pro series that has the 16. I could be wrong on that though. I could be wrong. If somebody in the chat wants to correct me, go ahead. Tell me I'm an idiot. I'm used to it. But yeah.
Yeah, and
I think that they've spec'd them quite well. I think 16 gigs of RAM is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Have we missed anything else there in the chat? Max said it shouldn't be called a Fold 9 Pro. I agree. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a really, really bad name. Really bad.
Well, we're lucky that they don't call it Fold 9 Pro XL or something, since it unfolds and becomes bigger.
Tor says, thanks for the gaff tip. Yeah, I like the ratio better open, but feels same, not sold yet. Yeah, I actually really liked using the Fold 4. I think if you don't mind that slightly narrow outer screen on the folds, the Galaxy Folds, you'll be all right. But a lot of people prefer them a little bit wider. If anything, the one foldable I can recommend, even though I've not tried it, but just going on what I've seen other people say and what I've seen from the cameras of them, the OnePlus Open is the foldable to buy.
Yeah, and I cannot wait for next year. For the Series 2.
The Series 2 is looking monstrous.
Yeah.
So that will be very exciting. I'm hoping I can get a foldable next year sometime, potentially, but we'll see. The Open 2 will be the one.
I'm looking forward to OnePlus 13 later in the year. I cannot share with everyone the things that I've seen in Milan, but I will say.
Oh yeah, you went to Milan, didn't you?
Yeah.
With OnePlus.
Open Ears Forum. So I was impressed with the things that I've seen. Especially, the only thing I can say is that I was impressed with something that has to do with the camera that I use the most. And I just cannot wait to see, when it will be released. Because the stuff that I saw, I was very, very happy.
So you went to Milan with the OnePlus. What was the thing called again? You said
it was the Open Ears Forum, where they selected 30 people from around the world, and it was the event was split in 2 days. The first one was all about software, everything that has to do with everything that's coming in their phones with Android 15 and their features and all that. And yeah, the ultra wide, you got it.
We love ultra wides.
We love ultra wides. Yes,
we're all about that stuff.
Yeah, and so the first day was all about software, and we give them a lot of feedback. I really want to believe that they listened, because I saw things that I was happy with, but at the same time I saw things that I was very unhappy with.
Yes.
And then the next day was all about hardware. And there were a lot of things that I saw that I just cannot wait for them to be released, because if they actually look the way they showed us, then it's going to be very good. It's going to be a significant upgrade.
Yeah, cool. That sounds great to me. And I was lucky enough as well, actually, to be chosen through the OnePlus Labs program to test out the Nord 4, which has been absolutely fantastic.
Amazing phone. Amazing.
I still can't get over this phone being, well, starting at £429. This model's the 16 gig RAM, 512 gig storage model, but that's like £479. Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3, which is more powerful than the Tensor G3, and it's insane. Like you got 100-watt charging, main camera's really nice.
It's amazing. Like there's no
It's
other
nuts.
way of describing it. For its price, it hits so above it. Like it makes me regret actually. Bye, Dave. It makes me regret actually grabbing the 7A last year for my mother. Like I wish Nord 4 was out then, because it feels such a better phone. No, it is such a better phone.
If I wasn't like into my phone cameras, I'd be done.
Yeah,
I'd be absolutely done with this phone. It has everything that I want in a phone.
Yeah.
In terms of flat panel, really fast charging, excellent battery life, really good performance. And even to be fair, the main camera itself is, I was really surprised how good it was.
For sure. I told you guys from the beginning when we were testing it there in Milan, like the 1X, I was like, wow, this is very good. And you can even digitally zoom up to 3X.
Mate, even I was using like a 2X crop for most of my shots, and it's so good. You drop the only thing is it overexposes a little bit. So if you drop it sort of 0.3 or 0.7 and then just leave it there, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, fantastic stuff from OnePlus at the minute. So here, Oppo will be also launching the Find X8 series next in the UK. Yeah, that's apparently happening because they said they were bringing it back to Europe. So I'm hopeful that they bring it back. O2 used to stock the Oppo Find series, so I'm really hopeful that they bring it back, because if they do, my Xperia is going to be going bye-bye. Just to get that phone.
Yeah,
I'd be very excited for that.
Yeah.
But we're going to get 3 models, I believe, of the X8 this year. It's going to be an X8, an X8 Pro, and an X8 Ultra. So the first two, it's going to be a bit like how the Vivos ran, with the first 2 models having a Dimensity and then the Ultra having the Snapdragon. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out, and whether we actually get the Ultra, which is what I want. I want the Ultra. Golan says, I'm using the OnePlus 12, also Xiaomi 14. It's very strange how Xiaomi does not release enough updates for the 14 Ultra. This is one of the things, Golan, as well. As I said earlier in the stream, I'm debating between the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, Vivo X100 Ultra, and the Find X7 Ultra from Oppo as my next purchase. One of my last purchases for a while. And the update situation for Xiaomi is one of the things that's been putting me off, to be honest. Because I haven't seen, I've seen quite a few people complaining that there's just not many updates coming through. So that's something that's a little bit worrying.
Yeah, that's a shame. And OnePlus, that was, always been judged and, criticized for not updating. Now with the 12 series, they haven't missed, a single month.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen people getting regular updates for the Find X7 Ultras, and the Vivo. Vivo's been getting loads. OnePlus has been really good. So, yeah, it's kind of strange why Xiaomi are a little bit, so especially when they've released the 14 Ultra here in the UK and they're not supporting it very well. Darren in the chat, welcome in, mate. The Nord you have is one good looking device, mate. It's funny because I didn't know what color I was going to get, and obviously I love greens, and this was the one that I wanted.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Like the funny thing with this, because it's a metal unibody, so there's no wireless charging, obviously, but it reminded me very much of like a Pixel 2 XL in sort of the design of having that sort of cut off at the top with the camera. Not as rough as a Pixel 2 XL, but you know, that all metal body as well. Very cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, I think I'm on the Xperia for a while now, I think. We're just about wrapping up, guys. So if you have any other questions to chuck in the chat, let them be known to us. Darren's on his Vivo X100 Pro. He's loving his Vivo X100 Pro. I think Darren should get the Ultra. Just saying. Xiaomi being Xiaomi, says Mac. Sounds like it. Xiaomi have always had an issue with updates. They seem to have always had an issue with updates. So, yeah, it's a shame. Hey, Tor got the same color node as well. Yes. Spring. What is it? Oasis Green. Oasis Green is what it's called. Daz, no, you may not have my cap. I love my cap. Lando is on pole position for the race tomorrow, so no, I need it. I've got to be wearing it all day. Any other questions in the chat?
I have a question for Joe. Oh. When is he going to sell me the Vivo?
Too late. I already asked him. I called dibs. I called dibs on the Vivo.
Yeah.
I called it. Right. I don't think there's much else. I mean, the chat is a little bit delayed, so I'm just trying to make sure we don't miss any anything there. But yeah, it looks like we're all good. Right, guys, we are going to wrap up there. Big thank you to everybody for tuning in. We've had a lot of people tuning in on X today. There's 131 viewers at the minute, which is kind of crazy. Nice. Not many people chatting, but that's fine. I appreciate everybody popping in and hanging with us. It's really cool. Tor, thanks very much, mate. Always good to chat, pal. And have a good bank holiday weekend, guys. Yes,
indeed.
You can find me on X and YouTube, Grounded Tech. Manos, where can people find you, mate?
On X, I would say under orange _scooter. It's where I'm mostly active. Instagram, yeah, I'm more lazy.
Yes. And then Mac can be found under his name, which I'm not going to butcher. So there's a link in the description of the YouTube stream if you want to follow him there as well. So thanks very much, guys. Yes, we will be back again next week. We'll hopefully... we're going to see if we'll make Saturday the main day, but we'll let you know in the week. But until then, take it easy. We'll see you all very soon. Have a great weekend, guys.
See you, everyone. Bye-bye.